Hey, we're going to talk today about growing up with an alcoholic mom. Kind of a taboo subject, but not really a taboo subject because it's something that happens all the time. Not just a mom, but growing up with any kind of addiction somewhere in your life is not uncommon. And it's something that because we don't talk about it enough, it is running more and more rampant. And if we don't stop to really focus and open up the doors and make this something that we can openly talk about and deal with together, it is going to keep growing and growing and growing. So I'm here today to tell my story. It may not be the most beautiful story. It might be a very sad story. There might be points where we don't want to hear it because it's so damn sad. But here's the reality. There's sadness in life. And if you want to learn how to move through your life and be able to experience the sadness but come through out onto the other side and live a full, happy, beautiful life that you are absolutely deserving of, we need to learn how to move through the tough shit. So today, I'm here to talk to you. I am a woman. I have 3 beautiful children. And I spent over half my life believing that I was not going to be a good mom and that I did not want kids at all because I was raised by a woman who wasn't able to be the mom for me that she wanted to be. And for a long time, of course, I did not understand that. I didn't understand that it wasn't because my mom didn't love me. It was because my mom was hurting and there were broken pieces inside that she was not able to fix on her own. And she did not know how to seek help properly in order to fix these things. So for every person out there who feels alone, whether you are personally an addict of some sort, whether you are a family member or a spouse or a child or a parent of an addict, I hope that this video gives some kind of light to you as you feel alone and potentially very helpless in the position that you're in right now, because I know and I've been there. Yes, every single one of these situations can be very different, but there are so many similarities when you are dealing with addiction that if we can learn to band together and learn and grow, we can stop the generational curses and cycles from coming down and reaching and destroying the generations coming up underneath us. You know, I was born into a situation that had the potential to completely ruin and destroy my life and my future. And I almost let it. I absolutely almost let it until I stopped to realize, wait a second, I decide what happens here. This is my life. I do not have control over what happened to me, and maybe I didn't deserve it. But I absolutely am 100% responsible as to where my life goes from here and how I take the lessons that I learned from every single thing that I went through and move forward with them in my life. And that was the day that I took my power back. So whether you were born into your situation, you were raised into your current situation, you were married into your current situation, you somehow, some way, shape, or form got yourself knowingly into a situation or circumstance right now that you're unhappy with, that you're afraid of, that you're uncomfortable living in, I am here to tell you you are in complete control. I know it doesn't feel like you are, but you are. It might take a million little steps, might take one big bold step, but you are in control. So without further ado, we are going to move into growing up with an alcoholic mom and what that looked like for me. This will be my perspective, this will be my opinions, and this will just be my personal experiences. Again, this is gonna look different to everybody, but there will always be some similarities. And if anything, I hope that you hear a part of this story and think, oh my God, she gets it. Oh my God, there was somebody else in this world experiencing what I am experiencing. I'm not alone. And maybe she's right. Maybe there is hope for me or for my loved one. Maybe. So before we get started, I need to give you a disclaimer, okay? Because I love my mom. I love my mom very much. She passed away when I was 18 years old, but I have absolutely nothing but love for this woman in my heart. She was a beautiful woman. She had a heart of absolute gold and a laugh that could fill a room without even trying. She's beautiful. But some of the things that I'm gonna have to bring to light here in this video, they're gonna paint her in a not so beautiful way. So every time that we're going down this road in this emotional roller coaster of a video I'm making here, I'm gonna need you to come back to this disclaimer and remember that I'm talking about somebody that I deeply love and care about, and somebody who I have taken the time to understand had broken pieces. And I have taken the time to see and fully understand that the silver lining of my situation was that, yes, I had to grow up in an unconventional way with the mom who couldn't be the mom that she wanted to be for me. But I also got the lessons from this that have shaped my life and who I am today. I got to see firsthand what happens to your body when you don't take care of it. What happens to your mind when you don't take the time to dive deep and face your own shit and correct it before you move forward. It is a slippery slope. And without these lessons, I can guarantee you I would have gone down the exact same path. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about growing up with an alcoholic mom. Please keep your mind and your heart open as we move through. So, if I look back on my childhood, as a kid, I'm going to start like when I was younger, kind of the farthest back that I can remember anyways. And in a nutshell, how I would describe it is constant uncertainty and instability. Like not knowing what each day is going to bring. When you wake up, is she home? What mood is she in? When you're coming home from school, is she home? Is the door unlocked? What mood is she in? You know, are we having supper tonight? You know, does she have a bunch of people over? Is there a party at the house? Because you never knew. It means getting ready in the morning for school, you know, packing your lunch, going through the cupboards, getting yourself together, getting dressed, doing your hair, getting yourself off to school on time. But far before that should ever be something that is expected of you at your age. But you see, like, children are incredible. We are far more capable than anybody gives them credit for at certain ages. It means listening to your friends complain about going to school when there's nowhere else you'd rather be. You love going to school because when you're at school, home can be forgotten about. School is your happy place. School is your safe place. It means wondering and not knowing on a regular basis, is there going to be food in the house? It means watching her ask for money from family and friends for food, knowing that that money is going to go to beer. It means asking to go for a sleepover at your friend's house, and she says yes. Yay! So you go and you're excited and you go to your sleepover and you fall asleep, and midnight-ish rolls around. You see, after you left to go to your sleepover that your mom said yes to, she started to drink. And then she forgot that she told you that you could go to your sleepover. So when midnight rolled around and she went to check on you in bed and you weren't there and she doesn't remember that she told you you could go, she starts calling every single friend that you have because she doesn't realize what time it is. She's drunk and she doesn't care. To her, oh my God, my daughter's not in bed. My daughter is lost. I'm calling everyone. I don't care until she finds me. Now, when she finds me, I have to go home. So I go home, midnight, 2 a.m, whatever time it might be. And when you get there, of course, you're frustrated, you are confused, you are angry, but you know that there is no point in having this discussion with the person in front of you, with your mom. Because your mom's not there right now. She's checked out. You're speaking to somebody entirely different than the woman that you know when she first wakes up in the morning. So you go to bed. And you don't bring it up in the morning because she won't remember. It means spending a lot of time in bars and a lot of time around adults. And it means being told when you're about 10 years old, that if your mom continues to live the way that she's living, she's gonna die. And I mean, it means being told this. But at that age, you don't understand, you don't fully comprehend the realness and the importance of these words. So fast forward a few years to our teens. Now you're starting to get older. You're starting to see things for what they really are. You're starting to see that your mom isn't quite like all the other moms. I mean, you knew that. You already had a bit of a suspicion because children are very smart and very capable. But now you're really seeing something is very often very wrong, but you don't want to talk about it. Because there's still a part of you that doesn't understand. I wish I would have known then what I know now, because there was so much shame back then when it was nothing for me to be ashamed of. It's nothing for you to be ashamed of. Things are starting to get more intense now, you know? Mom's further down in her spiral downwards with her addiction, and you're getting older and you're a teenager, and things are getting a little bit more fragile, a little bit more heated than they used to be when you were a kid. You're watching her cry a lot more these days. And when she cries, she says things like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep messing up. I want to see your wedding day. I want to live to see your wedding day. I'll quit drinking tomorrow. I will quit tomorrow. I promise I will quit tomorrow. But when she wakes up, the very first thing that she does is grab a beer. A, because she doesn't remember. And even if she does remember, guilt, blame, shame consume her daily. This is addiction. But it doesn't end there. As you become your fiery teenage self, you start thinking of ways to be bold, to try to create change within your household. So you find the case of beer and you start dumping it down the sink. Dumping all the beers down the sink, down the sink, down the sink. And sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't get caught, but when you do get caught, explosion. There is fighting, there is screaming, there is yelling, there is crying. Teenagers saying, why can't you stop? Why can't you see? Mom yelling, how dare you? What is wrong with you? You're grounded. And teenage you doesn't care. Teenage you is just hoping that for once your crazy actions will flip a switch in her mind. And who knows? You're hoping, of course, that something magical will happen and she'll just say, wow, Jesse's really serious today. Maybe I should quit drinking. But deep down, you know, in your heart as you're dumping the beers, that switch likely isn't going to switch today. And what's more likely to happen is she's going to call and have another case of beer delivered. And sure enough, it shows up an hour later at the door. It also means being waken up in the middle of the night to the door closing. She comes home, but she can't walk. So you need to go and help her and get her into bed, and you need to take her clothes off and get her into her pajamas and make sure she's tucked in on her side. She's safe. You go back to bed, only to be woken up a couple hours later to banging, maybe things smashing, yelling, and crying. You run downstairs and you never know what you're going to find, but most often it's something like she's fallen off the toilet and she's soiled herself, and you're just so done at this point. You are so frustrated and pissed off and angry. And you want to be outwardly angry. You want to show your anger. But you know how can you? This person is crying. This person is broken. This person is at the bottom of their rope. And even as a young teenage girl, you know in your gut that this person doesn't need to be yelled at or shamed. This person needs to be helped. And this person might need to be helped a lot more than you're capable of helping. But in this moment, what you can do is help that person physically up. And she's crying because she's embarrassed. And you're thinking to yourself, you're crying because you're embarrassed. But yet tomorrow we're going to do this all again and again and again. This was a daily occurrence. This was life unfolding every day. So you clean her up, you make sure she's okay, likely make her something to eat and get her some water, get her tucked back into bed. Go back to sleep. But your alarm goes off because you have to go to school in the morning. Because she will get mad at you if you don't go to school. Because remember, she does not remember what happened last night. She will see the bruises. She will feel whatever she feels, but she doesn't remember what happened last night. And if you try to tell her what happened last night, she's going to start crying because she's ashamed. So you say nothing. You get up, you get yourself ready, you go to school. You're likely late. You don't tell the whole story because who's going to tell their teacher or their principal that story? No one. And you go on living every day, just trying to get through, hoping and praying that something might change one day. At the end of the rope, when you've tried everything, I'm talking failed AA meetings, the intervention, everything that when you look around for resources, you're told to do to help your loved one through addiction. Sometimes they're successful. In our case, we lost my mom before she could fix herself. Because you see, that's the truth within all of this. It's a truth that my mom did not know. She had been looking and waiting all of this time for something to come in and fix her, save her, help her. All of this time, she did not realize that she had everything she needed right here. She did not know, and she was not taught, that she was going to be her own savior, that she was the only one that could save her own life. So she kept looking and searching and waiting. She died waiting. Now, Remember at the beginning of the video when I told you about how my mom was a beautiful woman with a heart of gold and an infectious laugh that could fill up a room? I'm gonna need you to go there right now. Because you see, that's how I try to remember my mom these days. I don't try to push out the fact that we had what we had together, because that's the real truth. That is life. And I'd be doing myself in this world a great disservice if I tried to act like my life wasn't what it was. My mom had many broken pieces inside of her, like I said. I don't know what every single broken part inside her was. But I had to decide along the way that I didn't need to know all of the reasons why before I decided that that was not going to be my fate. Before I decided that that generational curse was going to end with me and not be passed down to the next generation, to my children. Here is what I believe to be the truest of truths. You have got every single thing within you to rise above your current circumstance if you are unhappy. If you trust in yourself, you have the strength, the power, and the determination to create the beautiful life that you deserve, whatever that might be for you. Beautiful life is different to each and every one of us. I am sending you all of the love and all of the hugs and all of the good vibes that I possibly can. Today, I was able to share my story with you. I'm so thankful that you were here and you took the time to listen. And I cannot wait for you to share your story with me.